Okay, this is our week 4 tiny drills. Probably like my fourth attempt at this. Hopefully, this one sticks. Okay, so I've done this 4 times now, or 3 times. When you're doing these sends, all of these, like I said, I apologize, but I've recorded this 3 times. I'm having tech issues here. So I know also I practiced what I'm going to say. All of these on your fronts and your blinds here. What's going on, I think, is you're doing a pretty good job on your vertical distance most of the time. Vertical distance being the distance between the camera and the tunnel, right? Picture that. This line. This line is your vertical. Your lateral or horizontal distance is along this line. And so it's the distance between this line of jumps and this line of jumps. Because we're doing a cross between the yellow and the green on the diagonal, we can split the difference. So on one end, what you tend to be doing is you're sending from here. So you have this much lateral distance to the tunnel send. But then when you're coming this way, you have almost no lateral distance to the yellow jump. And what happens is when she comes out of the tunnel, she sees you right here. So as she goes to take this yellow jump, she is completely convinced that this is the line until you start turning. So your rotation of your shoulders gives a little bit of a clue, but your location is still so close to that yellow that she's kind of surprised. And that's why it's really hard for her. She doesn't really get the information until she lands, or in a couple of iterations from now, a couple of attempts, she'll take the bar because it happens when she's going over the jump. What you're doing that's really nice, so like right now, this is even more so how you've really created a lot of lateral distance here to the send, but then you're right here on this wing, which if she needs that commitment to the jump out of the tunnel, then you're there. So there's that's good, but the problem is you're going to be in her space. It's going to be very difficult for you to then get out of her space and go this way. And if you go this way too soon, well, then she's even more likely to come off that yellow jump because your motion. So what I would suggest with these is kind of the opposite. Imagine if you were right here near this orange wing and you sent her. What that would mean is that you'd have no lateral component to your send into the tunnel, which should make that tunnel send easier. By the way, if you have no lateral component, then your vertical component should be even easier also, which means you should have been able to even start further back here. So more of a, so you'd have like no lateral. It'd be like right straight on her path, right? Then if you were over here more, you would be able to show a slight bit angle towards this so that she makes sure that she takes this jump, but you would still have a lot more space because you'd be closer to this line of jumps. So when you did your cross, you'd have given her more space and a bit of a clue that when as soon as you start to turn, she should really come in this way. It's a very long-winded way to say I think you'd be better off starting about 10 feet further towards the right, towards at least my right as I'm watching this. So now you go a little bit more towards the center. So see how we're running on that line? What I think you do a really nice job of your front cross footwork, and you're doing it on your front cross line. All of those things are really solid. And that's why you're close on a lot of these, because your other techniques are good. So that when you finally got it, you got to your cross just enough. It was more of a vertical commitment issue. I mean, you're doing a good job on your vertical. So you're starting back towards the camera. And in this case, you're also a lot closer to that line, which I was recommending. But I think you go in here further. So you're successful there because, like I said, you were doing a lot of things I recommended. You have more vertical distance, but I think that, and I know you're doing more of a running start with her to get her into that tunnel. But I would still start closer to this line and not go in quite as far towards that yellow jump. So now we're building back more vertical distance, which is good. I would like to see you be able to get more tunnel commitment there, and then be able to hug closer to this line on your fronts and your blinds. We'll do the rears next.